Hello, this is Gary Simon with GarySimon.net and DesignCourse.com, and today we're going to design this iOS app icon. So our work primarily will begin in Adobe Illustrator CS6, and we're going to start by going to File, New, change Units to Pixels, change Width and Height to 512. We'll hit OK. And also to note, I'm going to be talking quick because I want to get this done within around 15 minutes, or 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll be talking fast, but you can always just pause, stop, rewind, and follow along. So one of the things we're going to start with here is the rounded rectangle tool. And one thing we need to do is go to View, Snap to Grid, View, Show Grid. And then what we can do is at the very upper left-hand corner, double click, and we'll get this rounded rectangle dialog box, and we can set the exact dimensions of this rounded rectangle and make sure corner radius is 80. We'll hit OK, and then what we can do is remove this stroke to 0, and we're going to give the foreground color a gradient, radial. Now hit the G key, and right around here we'll double click, and that'll give us like a spotlight effect basically. Now I don't want it to be that bright, so we'll double click here and change it to right around that lightness. Okay, and now what we'll do is create an ellipse, and right around here in the center we'll hold Shift and Alt and drag out to right around there. Hold the G key and we'll redo the gradient holding Shift. Alright, and then we'll give it a stroke of 6. We'll click Stroke and align the stroke inside. We'll click over here to select the stroke and give it a linear gradient. And we will change the radius to 120. Now we'll just adjust the colors here to give it the effect of chrome, and yours doesn't have to match what I'm doing, so you can experiment with whatever you want. Alright, and maybe one more over here. Make that a little bit darker. Alright, and we're going to duplicate this, so Control C, Control F. Holding Shift and Alt down, we will drag in just a little bit and change the stroke this time to something larger. Well, we'll try 12. And we'll adjust the gradient just a little bit more. And again, you don't have to be perfect. Alright. Now what we're going to do is take this inner one, Control C, Control F, Shift and Alt, and drag in. Change the stroke to 2. Hit Enter. We'll remove the foreground color. And we'll also adjust the gradient here, just to 2 color pickers. And something a little bit darker to just barely noticeable. Okay, and Control C, Control F again to duplicate and drag in to right around there. And this is just barely visible. Alright, now what we're going to do is take this inner one again, Control C, Control F. We'll enlarge it, and we'll remove the stroke and give the foreground color a radial gradient. And the G key is selected, so we'll take this one right here and make it white. Double click this one. We'll leave it there, and we'll change it to 0 opacity. Oops. And we'll change the opacity right here to around 70. Okay. Now what we can do is select